We're going to Nancy Pelosi's liquor store. This is where all the real stock trading gets done. I feel bad for the cashier because I've got questions. What's it say?
The open sign is not lit up.
Sunday, 11. Oh, they
11 to
closed
5.
5 minutes ago.
Oh, shoot.
Dang it.
Go knock on the door. They might still be in there.
Might be worth it.
I think they just turned off the lights. No, maybe.
This is a historic part of Capitol Hill. It's family owned and operated. It's been here since 1949. Opened by Max Schneider, hence the name, and his son-in-law Abe Genderson. It is literally a piece of history. It's been here through everything. It's experienced so much. There are so many thousands of people, famous, infamous, everyday people, hardworking people, everybody who have walked through these doors. It's just, it's a really cool place. And Abe had 3 sons. 2 of his sons ran the store. One of them still does. Both of the sons had kids. One of them is our vice president. And one of them used to work on this side of the family business, now runs a different side.
Are there like multiple? Is this a chain?
This is the one and only.
One and only.
Okay.
There is no other Schneiders. We have one store. We have an amazing website called cellar.com. It's pretty cool to have a name like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That's
doing
a
this
really
forever.
valuable handle. Is somebody
Yeah.
that's bought a web domain. Yeah.
And then to add to it, we specialize in old and rare. Not just old and rare wine, which is one thing we excel in, but old and rare spirits too. So if you're looking for that rare bottle of Chartreuse, something that people just can't get anymore because it's a big craze, and the Chartreusian monks have cut it down their production, we can't always promise that we have it, but we do whatever we can to make sure we have some available. Then to add to it, we have bottles from like the early 1900s just randomly sitting in our warehouse.
super cool.
We have a massive warehouse which isn't here, but we have one, and that's pretty amazing.
I'll be honest with you. I probably, in my life have never had deep enough pockets for Chartreuse, but now I kind of want that. I don't even know what it is.
Chartreuse is an herbal liqueur. It's made by monks, and they make 2 basic recipes. One's yellow and one's green. It's used to make cocktails all the time, and it's different herbs that are used. And it's really unique because it's a recipe that's spoken. It's not publicly written down anywhere.
Oh, wow.
So only the monks know it, and each one has a different portion. You can look it up online. It's really cool and unique. But what makes it crazy is the monks do it to fund the church. And they made so much money that they don't need money. So they've slowed down their production. They cut it about 85%. And so the allocation to every country and every state inside our country has diminished.
Same monks like Buddhist monks?
Chartreusian monks.
Okay.
It's one sect of monks. They said they need to spend more time with God. And who am I to argue?
Right.
If it works, that's great. That's awesome. That's amazing. Even crazier is the recipe has, obviously, because it's word of mouth, the game of telephone, it changes a little bit. And with the world changing, not everything is necessarily the same. The same flowers or the same herbs grown different years could be different. So it has evolved, but it hasn't devolved in any way. But then adding to it, the monks have just slowly gotten older because that's nature, it happens. But not many people are joining the sect. And so eventually there's a theory that it may just disappear.
Do they all know the recipe, or is it only certain ones?
That I don't know.
Because I would wonder
They haven't
how they'd
invited me.
have to pass it down. Oh,
how
they should.
long
Wouldn't
have
that
you-
be great?
How long have you been working here, and what did you do before this? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's alarming to walk into a liquor store and have the gentleman working behind the counter be this well spoken on camera and know this much history off the back of their hand with no prep.
So I've been here about 7 years. That being said, my role here is I am the spirits manager.
Okay.
I used to be on the wine side, and I still love wine. That is my background. I am a sommelier. I used to own and operate restaurant and retail shops that focused on wine, but I grew up with the family who owns this shop. My generation, the vice president here, is a year younger than me, and her and I had our first business meeting when we were 3 years old enough to sit at a table, while her father, who was one of the brothers who owned the store and was my mentor, and my dad were sitting right next to us, just hanging out. And he reared me through my experience of working in a beer and wine store that I was partners with my father, and gave me so much drive and direction towards learning the history behind everything. I love alcohol, not for the taste or for the effects that it gives me, but I love it because there's history behind each and every bottle, whether it's a bottle of a cordial, whether it's a bourbon from Kentucky, whether it is a bottle of Burgundy wine, which is Pinot Noir or Chardonnay from France. Every bottle has a story. Whether it's the people who walked on those fields that year, or 20 years before, or what's happened that caused the regulations and the rules to be that.
You need to start like an alcohol history YouTube channel. You would crush. I just
You
want
would
you to
crush.
like, yeah, you would make stupid amounts of money and do really well for yourself.
Yeah.
Because like
You got it.
I've never cared about alcohol history, and you got me
Now I
dialed in
care.
right now.
The history of
Yeah.
alcohol is amazing. And
That's the name of the channel, by the way, The History of Alcohol.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Would crush.
some of the biggest, most sought after names are Pappy Van Winkle, which you can Google, you can look up any which way. They are very, very, very expensive. The history behind it is Pappy was somebody who worked at a distillery. The distillery was called the Stitzel-Weller Distillery. And the most famous whiskey to most people out of there is Weller. Stitzel-Weller were two families. They came together. They started a distillery. And Weller is known as the father of wheat, or the original wheated bourbon, excuse me, not the father. And Pappy was the one who managed the warehouse and dealt with the whiskey. And he would take unique barrels that were so unique they stood out, not necessarily good or bad, but unique ones. And he would pull them off because he didn't want to blend them in to make their regular bottlings. And the Weller family let him use that to make his bottles. So it was like this is either too good to go in because it'd be wasted in a blend, or this is just a little unique. And so the Van Winkle line started with a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 23-year-old. We have some of those back here. See the man smoking the cigar?
Oh,
That's
Van
Pappy
Winkle.
right there. On the right side is the 23. Got a 21, a 15. The middle one with the brown label is actually their rye whiskey. Then we've got a 12-year-old and the old Rip 10. These are all super amazing. They are very allocated, and every once in a while we happen to have them, you know, for $5,000 a bottle, $800 a bottle. It's not what they cost when you get them straight from the distributor. We do have to purchase them secondhand a lot to make sure that we have them for customers.
That's cool.
But one of the ones that a lot of politicians buy, especially because it's got a unique look and it's got status based on the label, is Blanton's. And Blanton's is right here. The beauty of it is it comes in a circular bottle. There are horses on the top. There are different horses, and each one has a little letter on it. And the letters will spell out Blanton's if you have them all, so you see the horses in a race. Because Kentucky isn't just about bourbon. Kentucky is about horses. So you got the two together. One of the other ones that's super popular, that's very sought after, but also readily available, is Elijah Craig. And Elijah Craig is actually the father of bourbon. If you look back in history, there was a cooperage in here on the East Coast that burned.
Mm-hmm.
And those wood staves and those barrels were used to make whiskey. Before that, all the whiskey distilleries used just barrels. They just took the barrels and they threw the whiskey in there and they got flavor and that's it. Well, Elijah Craig had this wood that was burned. He had no other choice. It's not modern day, so they couldn't just harvest other trees and warp them and blend them and make sure they were all tight and fitting and proper, because that takes months, if not years, to cure them and dry them out and get every piece to work. So he just threw the whiskey in there. And sure enough, that was the creation of bourbon.
That's kind of cool.
I didn't know that's how bourbon was created. Is they put whiskey in fire burned barrels. That is
By law,
That's
all,
Elisha Craig right there.
Yes, this is a little bottle of Elijah Craig.
Can I buy that if I pay cash?
I'll tell you what, real quick, we'll take a quick walk over here. We've got this little room we call our wine room. We do have a huge old and rare collection, like I said, and
Here, Fed,
old
you need
and
to
rare
get in here.
wines shouldn't be touched all the time. Wine goes in a cellar because it's cool, and a cellar was designed to preserve products, whether it was grain, whether it was dairy, whether it was meat. It was old-time refrigeration. And grapes were put in there, and wine was put in there, and wine slowly matures, slowly gets older, slowly spoils when you put it in a cooler temperature. So our 21,000 square foot warehouse is all climate controlled. It is cool. So if you're walking in the way you are,
Yeah.
you're not going to last very
Right.
long. I always keep a jacket in my car just in case I'm in there for hours. But in here we've got some really unique bottles. One is a fortified wine called Madeira. This is what Thomas Jefferson drank. And if you were to look in Thomas Jefferson's cellar, you'd see bottles like this. This is a bottle right here from 1900. Another bottle from 1900.
Do I even want to know how much that is?
Wow, that's crazy.
It's not an everyday bottle.
I love how you just real quick. It's not every day.
You
These
don't
are
want
from 1920. Bottles from the 70s. We've got
you have
some ports.
you have wine in here that survived through Prohibition
Oh yeah.
and is still not been drank.
We have a bunch of beautiful, well-matured French wines over here from Burgundy, from Rhone, France, from Bordeaux, that are just super elegant, whether it's 1986, 1971, 1972, 1949. You know, and some of these are what's called first growth Bordeaux's, the top tier, the highest grade, creme de la creme producers that are just over the top. And some Californian wines that are considered to be cult wines. Wines that people dream of because they are the biggest, richest, boldest, heaviest, fullest named Cabernets or Pinot Noirs or Merlots. You can only put so much in a small room.
Right.
Even though we totally maximize our efficiency and our use of space, we still have to use other spaces.
Right.
And then our warehouse has boatloads. Our most senior wine manager here, who's been here well over 20 years, he, years ago, took it upon himself to collect wooden wine crates and decorated and tiled this whole room.
That is cool.
It's awesome.
what
Yeah.
a cool guy.
The bottle that you're buying is Elijah Craig. It's a small batch, and they call it small batch because they take barrels from all over their rick house, and they're blended years.
Okay.
So it could be a 3-year-old, well actually, it's Elijah Craig. It could be a 4-year-old, it could be a 7-year-old, it could be a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old. They don't release anything that's under 4 years. And they blend it together so they have a consistent flavor year in, year out, bottle by bottle by bottle. That started about 20 years ago because there was this thing called the bourbon boom. Everyone started loving bourbon. Part of the reason is because bourbon was available, and it was old, and it was well balanced, and it was elegant, and these distillers took pride in making everything they made. And they would release Elijah Craig. The young one was a 12-year-old. It's just make tons of barrels every day and just put them in the corner, and 12 years later, this is what we're getting. But with the boom, there wasn't enough supply for the demand. So they started blending barrels to keep up with consistency, and they took the age statement off of it.
Gotcha.
They still make a 12-year-old every once in a while, and they're working on building up their back stock so that they can get back to it. Other producers like Wild Turkey, producers like Eagle Rare, a lot of them had or have age statements, but they've changed. Maker's Mark has changed their product over the years to keep up with consistency, but some of them are starting to come back, which is really spectacular.
It's like if you buy a winery, you won't get your first product for like a decade or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, vines, when you plant vines, it takes about 3 to 5 years for it to produce fruit that's ripe and rich enough to make grapes. And you have to make sure that the vines are all planted and pruned and manipulated the right way so that the grapes aren't just being produced, but they're being produced with the right concentration of sugar and you don't have too many grapes. This is for Schneiders in history.
Wow.
That's not bad at all.
It's
yeah.
very easy, 94 proof. Get a little bit of baking spice.
I'm gonna take
You
that.
get great mouthfeel. You feel it on the top of your mouth. You feel it on your tongue. It gets you to salivate from the alcohol, but it also gets you to like salivate wanting more.
But there's no burn.
There's no burn because it's lower proof.
Yeah.
The alcohol isn't so
It's good.
aggressive like
Right.
some of the bottles that are barrel proof.
I felt it right about here, but outside of that, it was great.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We were expecting
Awesome.
some like teenage kid who's like, you can look
You're
around
like,
if you want.
Oh, it's closed.
Yeah.
We missed
Yeah.
it by 5 minutes.
You know
I
what?
said, go try.
You just got out of the Army?
No way.
This is a new release from Green River, an old distillery in Kentucky. This came out this past week in honor of the 250th anniversary. Thank you for your service.
I literally retired Monday. So that was, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Wow.
I gotta pay you something
Yeah.
for this, man.
Consider it. Yeah.
This is huge. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
You guys have a
Super
great
cool.
afternoon.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Safe travels, all right?
Of course.
sir.
Thank you so
Shoot me
much.
an email anytime.
Absolutely,
All right?
yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great day.